All right, guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we are gonna rock it out with some spaghetti, healthy style, and how to get those veggies in. So whether you personally are somebody who just finds that you really don't love vegetables and you just can't seem to get enough of them, and there's only so many carrots or cucumbers you can have, right? Because some of us can at least do that. Or if you have young ones or spouses that just won't get their veggies in, I'm going to show you a way to kind of sneak it into the sauce. And then for those of you who are gluten-free and low FODMAP, we're totally rocking out a sauce that you can do for spaghetti that is low FODMAP. I will let you know right now, and I'll remind you when I pour it in, that you want to make sure that any kind of spaghetti sauce, even if it's just straight up plain spaghetti sauce, doesn't have the extra added things in the back that would make them low FODMAP, like the garlic and the onion. And so I sent my husband to the store and forgot to remind him of that fact. So the one I'm using is not going to be completely 100% low FODMAP, but we can rock and roll with this. If you are somebody who's not low FODMAP, you want to make this even quicker, easier, and convenient, you don't even have to do the part of the recipe where I'm showing you how to make the sauce. You just grab a sauce from the store and add some veggies in, and away you go. So we're going to do the veggies part first. So if that's what you're most interested in, here we go. So I basically have a food processor. I'm gonna add in some zucchini and carrots today. You really can add in just about anything. And actually, I have some okra. I am not a fan of okra, and I'm gonna actually step away and probably grab that out and add a little bit of that in as well so that it doesn't just go bad. It has some amazing health benefits, so sneaking that into this is gonna be fabulous. So for those of you who aren't familiar with squash and zucchini, I'm just gonna be adding, cutting off the tips right here. So just this part that is kind of funky at the edge. You can leave the other end or you can cut it off. Either way is fine. And then just to make it go into the food processor just a little bit easier, I'm just gonna cut these in half one time. If you don't have like the greatest food processor, you can chop this up a little bit more to make that easier, or you can actually soften the vegetables by steaming them up or something like that and being able to kind of mash them in. But you're gonna want something that will be really able to puree them up or whatnot. So we're gonna make a little noise, and then I cheat and I like just the carrots that are already chopped up, ready to go. A lot of us are moms, right? And if we're not moms, we still want easy, quick, convenience. So here you go. So we're just gonna add these in here. Let go until you can get that pureed up. For those of you who've never done the food processor, it's really kind of this easy. A lot of times you can just mix it up in the bottom too. So if you have a blender, I don't know if you guys can hear me, so I'll repeat. And not a food processor. I don't know if you can hear me because that's the first time I think I've talked that long over it. I'm going to take this part out and just kind of put the carrots in and add it instead of trying it because they're already kind of broken up. I can't get this out though, guys. But if you don't have a food processor, but you have a blender, then you could, I don't know why it's not coming up, so we're just going to cheat here, maybe. It doesn't want to come out, guys. But you can soften the vegetables up and put it into a blender. We're gonna take a quick break while I get this thing off. You never know what's gonna happen when you just video record, and good thing it's somewhat not live. We couldn't do that because we cook for periods of time. But so anyway, then I'm just gonna add the carrots in. You don't have to do like the whole bag. I don't think I'm going to. I'm gonna do about half the bag. And then we're just gonna blend these in. As that's blending up, I'm gonna go get some of this okra to pop in. So this really is one of those things where you just have some vegetables, they're about to go bad, or like me, you just don't really love these vegetables very much, they are going to go into a sauce. That sauce is really gonna cover up the flavor. So let's just put these bad boys in here so they can get used up and not wasted. I have some water that I was gonna use for the pan a little bit later, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop that in now, just because I got a few more veggies than I was planning on. And those are really kind of getting all mixed in here. So we're looking good. And then basically what we're doing is we're taking like 3 tablespoons to a 1/4 cup of some oil. I like my garlic infused stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that in here. And then we are just going to heat up in a pan the oil and these veggies. So I'm gonna finish pureeing this up, pop them in, and I'll be right back. All right, so the veggies are pureed and I'm heating up the oil. You wanna wait to just heat it up just a little bit. I'm only gonna add in about half this mix since kind of on the fly I decided to add in the okra. We don't need this many vegetables, but hey, you totally could rock that out. But what I'll end up doing is I'll freeze half of this, and the next time we make some kind of a sauce, I can pop these in. There's all kinds of great things you can do with the pureed vegetables. What's really awesome is this really doesn't have a taste. Like, I kind of taste tested it because it's just unbelievable every single time that it really doesn't have a taste to it. So then you go and you add it to a sauce. Like, you really could like do this part when nobody's around and then like start your fresh cooking and the sauce is already done and you just pour it all together. So little miss is just coming down. The kiddos just had a shower or a bath. And so all we're doing here now is mixing this up till it almost gets a little bit caramelized. Some of the moisture comes out of it. As a mom on the go, sometimes I'm a little impatient and I don't totally do that step. And guess what? It still comes out tasting just fine. So we're gonna give it just a minute to kind of cook up here. And then we're gonna add the sauce and the seasonings and away we go. Okay, so now it's add-in time. This thing's been bubbling and boiling up. So we're gonna take the tomato sauce, and remember, if you're low FODMAP, just make sure that you're checking the tomato sauce to make sure that it meets your requirements for not having the garlic or the onion added that so often is added to our tomato sauces. That's why we are making one from scratch, because they're pretty much gonna have it. And then we got some diced tomatoes. Again, you want to check that one too. If you're not low FODMAP, then kudos to you. You don't have to worry about it. And then mix that in, because that was quite a little hefty chunk to add into quite a bit of vegetables, which is going to be awesome. It doesn't really have like a lot of taste, so it's going to be great. And then it also makes it kind of creamy and fun, so for a nice sauce. And then we're going to add in a tablespoon of sage here. And we're going to get some basil in here. The dried basil, it also calls for a couple basil leaves. So we won't be adding in the basil leaves, but I have like what's equivalent to some fresh basil leaves that we'll add in. So adding in some oregano. Getting low on my oregano. And then we have some fennel seeds. Again, found in the spices. If that's not something that you have around and you have everything else, like, you'll still survive. It'll be a great sauce. Adding in some salt. And some pepper. And all the while, this thing's just cooking away, okay? And then again, here you could add in your fresh basil leaves. I'm just gonna do a little sprinkle of what's equivalent to some basil leaves in this cute little cup here that my husband found at the grocery store. So it's turned into a really convenient way because the basil leaves actually go bad faster, whereas this stays nice and fresh in the container. But it's just fresh basil leaves. All right, so we're gonna mix all that together. And then here's the thing, guys. This is one of those, like if you're sitting at home on a weekend day or whatever day, and you wanna just let this sit and cook at a simmer for really as long as you want, you can really the flavors start to come out about an hour and a half in. If you're just like me, like, woo, I don't have an hour and a half. I never think about think that far ahead. No problem. Just let it sit as long as it can. So ours won't sit for an hour and a half, but as we're cooking up the meat and we're cooking up the pasta, it's still gonna be sitting over here simmering. So right now, once you get it all mixed in, you're gonna wanna let it come to a boil. Once it gets to a boil, then we're gonna let it simmer. So I won't have you guys wait on video while it gets to a boil. There's quite a lot in that pan, but then I'll turn it down to a simmer, and then we're gonna be making the meat and noodles to go along with it. So if that part you're a pro at, then now you know how we're mixing in the veggies and the seasoning. And if the low FODMAP was what you needed, now you've got a great way to not only mix in vegetables and get extra fiber and get all those phytonutrients, but now you've got a way to do this low FODMAP and still rock out a favorite spaghetti recipe. To keep this lower in carbs, lower in calories, just do like a half cup of pasta, but load up with all the good stuff. Your sauce is literally filled with vegetables. Double up on the meat. Go ahead and enjoy that spaghetti. Just have less noodles. And if you're like me, I still want to mentally feel like I have this huge plate. So put some other veggies down. Right now with the low FODMAP, can't have broccoli, but if that's not a restriction for you, my typical thing was I'd put the noodles down, put a cup or two of broccoli on, and then load that bad boy up with some meat and sauce. And really, it was just filled with veggies and meat. So, you still want to have that plate, go for it. If that's not a big deal, just limit the sauce or limit the pasta. But when you're really trying to stick to a healthy lifestyle and you're trying to feed lots of people, this is where you just might have the sauce and the meat and the pasta all separate and let people make their own. That way you can double up on what you need to double up on and skim down on what you need to skim down on. So I'll be back to show you how to put it all together, but that's really kind of what we're doing as far as adding our veggies. So as we're waiting on that to boil up, I also wanted to show you guys that I put that half or so of the veggies into the container. So, it's just that simple. Put it into the container, put it into the freezer, and the next time we whip this up, we'll be able to pull it right back out, and we've already got the veggies ready to go. So if you're already going to get the food processor dirty and all the stuff that goes along with it, might as well add in some extra veggies, fill that food processor up, and then have extra for next time. And if you didn't want this many vegetables, shoot, you could have split this up into fourths and still have an amazing amount of vegetables in with your sauce, and get that in for you and the family, and have then 4 servings ready to go. So it's totally, it's great being able to just pop things in the freezer and have things ready to go. I'm a huge fan of not having to do the dishes as often as if we did it individually, and then it's just less time. Took me the same amount of time to do this, All right, so we are back. Everything is cooked. We're getting ready to be able to eat here at our house. So we went ahead and browned the ground turkey. And then here is our absolutely amazing, I'm pretty excited, I've taste tested it a few times, sauce that low FODMAP, as long as you get the right can of tomato sauce, and filled with vegetables, filled with vegetables. So that's super awesome. The kids won't even know it. And here's the thing. In there are at least 1 to 2 out of the 3 vegetables that nobody in our household likes. We all like and dislike different things, but this is amazing and you can't taste it at all. So it's great. And then we've got pasta for the non-gluten you know, the non-gluten and the people who can have the gluten. And so we've got something for everybody. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you can rock out your sauce with some vegetables, and now you know how to do it. So love to see your posts. Again, if you want recipes, I have recipes for everything that we just made. So put that in the comments below that you'd like that recipe, and I'll shoot that right over to you in Messenger. Have a great day and keep healthy simple. Bye guys.